talk about the language of algebra to get our advanced algebra. First thing we have to be aware of is what's a variable. Variables are letters that stand for, they just hold places for numbers, okay? The most common variable is x. And then you see y quite a bit, but they can be anything, okay? The only thing we like to warn you about is when you move to an s, we recommend that you don't use that you use a cursive lowercase so that it doesn't get confused with 5. Sometimes s's can look like 5s. T's also, as far as using them as here, T can be problematic, S can be problematic. Another one that you don't really want to use is the O, because is it an O or is it a 0? And it can be problematic, so we don't recommend using those. You go ahead and you take numbers and you mix them with variables. You can create little expressions, things like this. What about x plus x? Okay. Or how about, well, gee, that's equal to 2x. I could write it like that. Or maybe we have 3y's plus an x, minus 4. That's also an expression. Straight numbers, letters, they're being added, subtracted, multiplied. We can even take them to powers. 4x squareds. 3x to the third minus 4x squared. These are all expressions because they don't. Right now, let's take a look at an algebraic sentence. An algebraic sentence will happen when you place a verb into the mix. Okay? Now, your verbs are things like equal to, not equal to, less than or equal to, greater than or equal to, and approximately equal to. So if we start putting some of these verbs in, we can get things that look like, how about this? 4x squareds are equal to 38. Okay. This is now a sentence that can actually be solved. All right, now, algebraic equation. This is pretty easy to understand because of this word right here. You're going to get an equation if you have a sentence with an equal sign as the verb. All right? So your verb, in this case, to get an equation, your verb is the equal sign. Okay? So that thing right there is an equation as well as being an algebraic. Lots of people get these things mixed up with the word formula. Okay? Formula is kind of a generic catch-all term that people apply to everything. But technically, a formula is a single variable that is set equal to an expression. For example, distance, single variable, is equal to rate times time. Okay? Area is equal to pi times the radius squared. That's the area of a circle. This is a formula. You have a single variable set equal to an expression. How about perimeter is equal to twice the length plus twice the width. Basics of vocabulary looked at. We're going to talk about evaluating an expression. To evaluate an expression means take a look at your expression and substitute a number in for the variable or variables, and then just work them out and get it down to an answer. Most people would call evaluating an expression finding the answer. Okay? Now, you learned back in algebra that there are lots of different ways of doing things in math, and some are right and some are wrong. So we have to make sure when we're evaluating these expressions that we use worldwide accepted rules. And those are called the order of operations. Now in this country, most people know the order of operations as PEMDAS. Okay? Now it's very important that you put the little arrows above the M and the D and the A and the S. Okay? Now, PEMDAS means do your parentheses or grouping symbols first. Always. They are the most important things in any, do your exponents. Then multiply and divide from left to right. Multiplication isn't more important than division. They have the same amount of importance, so you always do them from left to right. Same thing with addition and subtraction. Addition is not more important than subtraction. They have the same weight, so they're done as they appear in the problem from left.
Yeah, it's math mix-up. Everybody's math. Gotta love the teacher. You happy? Miss Lowry.